Hello to all of Linda's beloved viewers. It's been such a long time since Linda last had the chance to return and talk to everyone. But this time, her return carries far too many emotions. For more than half a month, CEO Quang, the man who was once Linda's strongest support, has suddenly disappeared. No one knows where he is, and there's been no news about him at all. Day after day, Linda still waits for a miracle. A message, a phone call, or simply a word asking how she is. But everything remains silent. From the shock of losing her first child to the endless waiting in vain, Linda's heart is nearly shattered. This pain hasn't just drained her tears. It has left her body frail and exhausted. For days, Linda hasn't had the strength to eat, and because of that, illness has crept in, making her even weaker. Yet deep within the depths of this sorrow, there is still a flicker of hope. Linda believes that somewhere out there, Quang is still safe. She believes that one day that door will open, and the man she longs for will walk in smiling as if they were never apart. Let's continue following this story together. If you feel for Linda, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and send your prayers for Quang's safe return, bringing with him the happy ending we're all waiting for. Linda is still alive, still breathing, but it feels as if her heart stopped beating the day Quang left. Every morning when she wakes, her hand instinctively reaches for the old wooden window frame, her eyes gazing toward the distant horizon, the very place where she and Quang once watched the sunrise during their happiest days. The soft, golden rays of morning no longer bring her a smile. Instead, they stir an aching, bittersweet longing deep within her soul. It's been more than half a month since he disappeared. No calls, no messages. Linda still doesn't know where Quang is, what he's doing, or even if he's safe. Fear grips her whenever her mind drifts to the worst possibilities yet. She cannot stop herself from imagining them. All day, her heart echoes one unanswered question over and over: Quang, are you okay? Even as pain squeezes the breath from her chest, Linda forces herself to rise each morning. Life in the poor countryside does not allow her to give up completely. There are still little chickens that need feeding, the sweet potato garden behind the house that needs tending. Every step she takes into the yard feels like walking through memories. Every corner holds traces of Quang. The chicken coop where he once caught her as she stumbled, the garden rows where he used to laugh and say, "You plant so straight and neat," all replay in her mind like a slow-motion film on endless loop. Each noon, after lighting the stove to boil a few freshly dug sweet potatoes, Linda sits quietly on the porch, her eyes unconsciously fixed on the distant fields. The rustling wind through the bamboo reminds her of Quang's deep, warm voice, the voice that was once her safest harbor. She imagines him suddenly appearing on the familiar village path, smiling and calling her name just like before. But then the wind passes, and silence answers in its place. Her prayers repeat day after day, becoming an unbreakable habit. Linda believes that if she never stops praying, a miracle will come. For that fragile hope is the only thing left keeping her alive. And so, amid the overwhelming longing, Linda continues to live. She still tends to the garden, feeds the chickens, and cooks her simple meals to survive. But in every heartbeat, every breath, every ordinary moment, Quang's shadow lingers. The harder she works, the more she misses him. The quieter she sits, the more her longing floods in. To outsiders, Linda may seem like any other woman, diligent, resilient. But only she knows how many nights her heart has cried itself dry. Every dawn she whispers to herself, "Keep living." Because one day, Quang will return. Linda sat leaning against the porch, her hands clutching the old phone, the only thing connecting her to Quang during these long days of separation. She took a deep breath and pressed the call button. The steady beep, beep, rang on the other end, then went silent. No one answered. She tried again and again, but the only reply was the hollow sound of emptiness and a cold, endless silence. A sharp pain gripped Linda's heart. Her eyes turned red, and a tear unknowingly fell onto the screen. Linda froze. She lifted her head, staring toward the distant horizon where the sun was slowly sinking behind the bamboo grove. A flood of memories flashed through her mind, the days Quang helped her cross muddy fields. His warm laughter as they roasted sweet potatoes by the fire, the simple promises that once gave her strength. All of it replayed like a slow-motion film. Beautiful, yet unbearably painful. Soft footsteps behind her pulled Linda back to reality. She turned and met the worried eyes of a woman, Quang's mother. Her face was lined with the marks of time, yet her eyes still held a quiet strength and boundless love. "Linda, are you holding up?" Her voice was gentle, though laced with an unspoken worry. Linda stood nodding slightly, but unable to speak. Her throat tightened as if a heavy stone blocked her words. With just that single question, all the emotion she had bottled up for half a month suddenly overflowed. "Have you not been able to reach Quang either?" Linda asked softly, her voice trembling. The older woman stayed silent for a moment, then slowly nodded. "Since that day, I've been calling constantly, but no one answers. I'm worried too. But my dear, you must take care of yourself. If Quang knew you were sick, it would only make him worry more." Hearing those comforting words, Linda broke down in tears. They streamed endlessly, carried away by the cool evening breeze. She missed Quang, and her heart ached even more, knowing his mother shared the same pain. In that moment, two women, one his mother, the other his beloved, became each other's support amidst an invisible storm. Quang's mother stepped closer, gently holding Linda's hands, frail, yet strangely warm. "Don't bear this alone anymore. I'm here. We'll wait for Quang together." Linda nodded faintly, her tearful eyes gazing into the distance. I pray every day. I only hope he's safe. Just safe, that's enough." The older woman smiled softly, a trembling smile, yet full of hope. "I believe Quang will come back. He loves you so much. Be patient, my dear. One day we'll see him walk through this door again." They stood in silence for a long time. Only the sound of wind rustling through the bamboo and the calls of chickens settling in for the night echoed across the yard. In that moment, though, longing still pierced her heart. Linda felt a little lighter, because at least now she knew she was no longer alone. Seeing Linda's frail figure, the older woman sighed softly before speaking in a gentle voice. "My dear, come with me to the town today. It's crowded there. Who knows? Maybe someone has seen Quang. Linda lifted her head, hesitating for a moment, then nodded faintly. Deep down, she knew that staying home wouldn't ease the ache in her heart. Perhaps this trip might bring even the faintest glimmer of hope. The road to town was long and dusty. Linda sat on the back of Quang's mother's motorbike, her hair tousled by the wind. Every passing scene, from the golden rice fields to the whispering bamboo groves, brought back memories of Quang. Here, he had once carried her through a rainy afternoon. There, he had stopped to buy her a half-melted ice cream. All of it came rushing back, sweet yet heartbreakingly painful. Upon arriving in town, they stopped at a small roadside tea shop. The shop had only a few old wooden tables and chairs worn by time, but it was quiet. Enough for the two women to talk. Quang's mother ordered 2 cups of hot tea. Steam curled upward, carrying a gentle aroma. She placed her hand lightly on the table and spoke slowly, her voice filled with emotion. "Linda, you've endured so much pain. I know ever since losing the baby, you haven't smiled the way you used to. I'm sorry for not being able to do more than offer words of comfort." Linda lowered her head, gripping the warm cup tightly. Her voice trembled. "I don't blame anyone. It's just, I'm so scared, Mom. Scared that I might never get to see him again." The older woman shook her head, her gaze steady. "No, my dear. Quang is thoughtful. He loves you deeply. I believe he will come back." Inside the small tea shop, their conversation stretched on, soothing their pain little by little. They reminisced about beautiful memories. The spring fair Quang once took Linda to the nights he stayed up with her in the hospital. Even small childhood stories about Quang that Linda had never heard before. That afternoon, Quang's mother took Linda to places tied to her memories with him. First was the riverbank where they used to sit counting stars on quiet summer nights. Linda silently stepped onto the sandy shore, letting her hand graze the cool water. The evening breeze stung her eyes, yet she couldn't tear her gaze from the flowing river, as if hoping Quang's silhouette might suddenly appear on the opposite bank. Next, they stopped by the small eatery at the end of the street, the place where Quang had taken Linda on their first date. The elderly owner recognized her and gently asked, "Oh, why are you alone today?" "Where's Quang?" Linda froze, suppressing a sob. He's busy." Standing behind her, Quang's mother stayed silent, but placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, silently lending her strength. Finally, they reached the cobblestone path leading to the wildflower field. This was where Quang had once promised to bring Linda to watch the sunrise every year. Now there was no laughter or chatter, only the sound of wind rustling through trembling blossoms. Linda stood there for a long time, closing her eyes and breathing deeply, letting the scent of grass and flowers carry her back to the most peaceful days of her life. When the sun set, they headed home. On the way, Quang's mother spoke softly. "You see, traces of Quang are everywhere. I believe one day we'll find him. You must stay strong, Linda." Linda looked toward the horizon where the crimson sun was sinking. Her voice quivered, but her eyes were steadier than before. "Yes, I'll wait. No matter how long, I'll keep waiting. The story is not over yet. Stay with us to see what happens next. Is the day of Quang's return drawing near?" If you share this hope, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and send your prayers. Who knows, maybe our collective faith will create a miracle.
Chúng ta cùng tiếp tục theo dõi câu chuyện về cảm xúc của Linda, một cô gái mạnh mẽ đã thoát khỏi người chồng độc ác. Cô ấy đã trở về an toàn và được mẹ Quang chăm sóc tận tình tại bệnh viện. Dù biết rằng Quang là người bạn trai luôn bên cạnh Linda, đã bỏ rơi công việc để quay về bên cô, nhưng một điều kỳ lạ là suốt mấy ngày qua anh vẫn chưa gặp Linda. Điều này khiến chúng ta không phải thắc mắc liệu Quang có gặp chuyện gì không ổn, có phải anh đã bị bắt cóc hay gặp phải một lý do nào đó mà đến giờ vẫn chưa thể quay lại. Khi mẹ Quang rời đi, căn nhà trở nên yên tĩnh, chỉ còn lại Linda với những suy nghĩ trong đầu. Đứng một mình, Linda không ngừng lo lắng. Cô tự hỏi, anh ấy đâu rồi? Tại sao Quang vẫn chưa về? Anh ấy có ổn không? Hay đang gặp phải một chuyện gì? Nỗi lo sợ dần trong lòng cô. Linda không thể nghĩ đến việc liệu Quang có biết rằng cô đã thoát khỏi người chồng cũ, liệu không có biết rằng mình đã bị hãm hại trong một kế hoạch tồi tệ không. Cô cảm thấy bất an và không thể hiểu nổi vì sao Quang vẫn chưa xuất hiện bên cạnh cô. Cô không thể làm gì ngoài việc lo lắng và chờ đợi, hy vọng rằng Quang sẽ sớm xuất hiện, bình an trở về và giải đáp tất cả những câu hỏi đang làm cô băn khoăn.